You're watching Leafs Morning Take with host Nick Alberga and former NHLer Jay Rosehill. The show starts now.
It's pretty amazing. It feels like just yesterday the Leafs pulled out that swap with San Jose, Thrun coming the other way, and Ryan Reaves going to San Jose, and then we interviewed Reavo, and here, lo and behold, it's December 11th, and we're getting set for Reavo's return. It's Nick Alberga, Jay Rosehill, the Thursday edition of Leafs Morning Take, presented by Bet365. What's going on, man? How are you?
Yeah, I am interested to see this Mr. Henry Thrun, and pretty cool timing. The table is set for him to have a hell of a debut against his former team. Funny how it works out, but yeah, I'm interested to check him out tonight as he gets inserted in the lineup.
I love puns, man. Thrun and done. So I hope it's not just one game here, but it could be Thrun and done for your boy Henry Thrun with Tanev back at practice in a non-contact jersey. But yeah, you're right. I think anytime you get a look at somebody specifically on the blue line, considering where this season started for this team, the first 20 some odd games, some new blood can't hurt. It stinks that Dakota Mermis is going to be out for an extended period of time, but all eyes will be on Henry Thrun. And I like this move by Craig Berube getting this guy in for his debut against his former team. He's going to be fired up, you'd think.
Yeah, I mean, as if he needs enough reason to, he's 24 years old. He's played 120 games, been on the Marlies all year, and he's getting a shot. It's just an extra added bit of spice that it's against his former team. I don't know if he's going to need any more motivation, but if he does, he'll have it facing the Sharks here tonight. It's kind of an interesting one. We'll see, trap game. I don't think this team is in a place where they can afford to even have those trap games where they used to, where the regular season doesn't matter and they're top of the league or whatever, and they don't take a lower team seriously. I mean, this Sharks team has one less point than them, and I think by all accounts they're going to need to bring it all and keep this thing going.
Man, it was great to see at the morning skate too that Joseph Woll, I mean, we sort of laugh quite a bit about injury statuses, especially in this market, but maybe the assessment was right this time around where we could see Woll as soon as Saturday night against Edmonton, because that's 2 days in a row. He skated for 30 minutes prior to practice on Wednesday, and now here at the morning skate, we see Joseph Woll out there. I love this, man. Great news.
I know. For once, I think they might be on pace with their injury assessments and timelines, but Chief has been pretty steadfast, and I said it was going to be a week. And he is trending towards that. Makes me think that little tweak, little something, and it's like, you know what, let's just shelf you. Hildeby has looked good. Let's give him the crease for a little bit, and let's just bring you back next week. And it seems like one of those, because if it was like an injury, I can't think of an injury I've ever seen or heard of where it's like, damn, you got to leave this game, and you're a goalie, you're the most important player on the team, you got to leave the game, but you'll be back in a week. Like, it just seems kind of, I don't want to say maintenance, but somewhere in between maintenance and injury. Like, he was hurt, not injured, you know what I mean? And just, we'll put you on the shelf, IR you, that'll be a week, bring in a guy, and we'll run Hildeby. And by all accounts, that's been working well. Looking to see Hildeby pick up where he left off by everyone's hoping, but he seems to be in a good headspace. Again, there's a few storylines here. Reavo coming back, Thrun in, and Hildeby. Let's see what you've got. I mean, I can't. What's his save percentage? 9.8, some ungodly number. So sample size is small. I can't assume he's going to keep that up. But just want another performance in there. This kid is starting to get on people's radar for. Is this guy going to be a mainstay for the Leafs and be a big part of whatever they do in the future here? Because by all accounts, it looks like he's ready.
If the Leafs win this game, I think it's a pretty simple decision for the game against Edmonton. That's probably the wrong opponent that I want Joseph Woll coming back for. I don't care if the Oilers have been struggling. They still have McDavid. They got Draisaitl. They got Hyman. Like, they got guys who love playing the Maple Leafs is what I'm getting at. And I think if Hildeby wins again, you put him back in there, and maybe the return for Woll is next Tuesday against Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks. But I think it's a polarizing debate at the very least. And you're right, the sample size is small, 1-0-1-1, 0.42, 9.86, one shutout since Woll went down in that game a couple games ago in Carolina. But at the very least, I think I would be more confident if I'm Craig Berube to deviate from Woll when I need to. I think that was the concern, is the reason why Woll got hurt to begin with is they had zero faith in Dennis Hildeby. And I think he has proven in a short span of time here that, hey, I can play in this league. So that allows you to give Woll some more rest time. They're obviously going to be very careful moving forward when this guy comes back, you would think.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to ride, like, the conversation now is how hard do you ride Hildeby? Like, you're 0-2
Yeah.
for riding goalies hard with Stolars and then Woll. Those two are more injury prone than Hildeby is. But I do remember last year, I think they were on that West Coast swing. I think they were actually in San Jose is what stands out to me. And they were just reluctant to put Hildeby in there for a start. And whatever their idea was in his development, it looks like they have done the right thing, because what he's been doing down in the Marlies, he's been developing. He looks sharp, and he hasn't had the easiest ride. I mean, that terrible start by the Leafs, there's been a handful of times he gets thrown in when, a goaltender gets pulled. That's always tough for a goalie, especially in Toronto, especially a young one with not a lot of NHL experience. Handled himself great. So there's always this, well, Hildeby's looked good when you threw him in. Again, really small sample size. And lo and behold, we ride Woll a little bit too hard. He goes down, as we're kind of used to now. And he gets put in the limelight, and he has been just sterling. So I imagine his confidence is high coming off a shutout. But yeah, with Woll just waiting in the weeds there, by all accounts, looks like he's going to be ready this weekend. I don't think it would be considered riding Hildeby too hard by putting him in on Saturday as well, and just giving that extra bit of buffer to Joseph Woll. And, Woll was playing phenomenal before he went down. So you want to give him the time, first of all, to feel 100% and not feel like he's lagging or nursing anything, and see if we can get back to having two confident, solid, hot goalies that we can switch now going into the future. Because with the goalies that we have that are injury prone, you need to have a 1-2 punch like they've had last year. And Hildeby's emerged as a guy that can absolutely handle that.
And again, today marks the 1 month point since we last saw Anthony Stolars play for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He hasn't even touched the ice since then. 1 month, man.
Yeah, not ideal, is it? And
no,
again, that's why it's so important that Hildeby's been doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
Him and Woll have been the biggest reason why this streak or turnaround or whatever you want to call it, where the Leafs are now playing better hockey. It starts in the crease, reverberates out from there. The D have been playing more solid. Our bottom six have been really solid. And now we got a little jumble up in the lineup here. So we'll see what it looks like. But I just can't see this being a trap game, because, every point matters. They're looking at the standings. They've done this turnaround. They do not want to go backwards. They want to keep going forwards. And you have an opponent here that I think you should be able to match up nicely against. I don't think they did well against them last year, though. But
no,
depends if you subscribe to the notion that things from the past continue, even though the team's considerably different. But again, the 1-2 punch of having two goalies, where if we get the announcement that Woll is back and available, I think that's going to be a huge thing for the Leafs.
This one's going to be a fun one. It really sort of feels like the San Jose team is maybe the Leafs from like 16, 17, where there's these bright eyes, these really, really exotic players and talented players. And now can they put it all together and be a perennial playoff contender for many years to come? The jury is still out, but looking forward to this one for sure. Our Super Chat charity partner is Sick Kids. Want to make sure that your question or comment gets on the show. Hit us up with a Super Chat. Proceeds from our Super Chat will go to Sick Kids, ranked the #1 research-intensive children's hospital in Canada and third in the world. A reminder, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button at the Leafs Nation 401. I really liked Craig Berube going to bat for Bobby McMann yesterday. The quote being, "It wasn't much. I thought it was more him getting bumped. I know you got to be in control of your stick, but I don't think it's worth a suspension. We lose a guy in Mermis for probably a month at least. There's nothing that I've heard." I don't mind that at all, going to bat for your player, regardless if you actually truly feel that way or not.
Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't matter what side you're on, if you're a Leafs fan or not. It's a kind of a soft suspension, I mean, it's hard to be consistent, and you can pull up all the different comparables that you want to make it look like it's a bad suspension. You can pull up comparables that make it look like it's a ridiculous suspension. It is what it is. It's one game. I thought that giving him a match, kicking him out of that game that was tight and important, was plenty enough. Give him a $5,000 fine or whatever the hell they do. I thought that was plenty, but again, a lot of eyeballs on the Leafs. Wanted to err on the side of, I feel like if they're going to err, they err on the side of giving a guy games just to kind of like take the temperature down, send a message to the league. We don't put up with that. But, when you're in those scrums and the little melees and things like that happen, I always just like to keep my stick down on the ice and get your hands up. Like, whacking a guy with a stick, it's just so obvious. All you see is bodies, and then there's one skinny stick flying through the air. It's just so obvious. So get that stick down, especially up around a guy's neck and head and stuff. You're asking for trouble. So sure, Bobby learned a bit of a lesson there, but get your hands up in a guy's face. Just get your palm here, just face wash the hell out of a guy. It drives them nuts. You can oftentimes get away with it. Or the best thing, if there's a bunch of bodies everywhere, throw a bomb punch from your hip right through a guy's belly. I've done that before, and they just you wind them, and it's brutal. And the refs can't see it. I mean, little tricks, but throwing your stick up high, you're asking for trouble. He got it. He got nailed. And whether you agree with it or not, the Leafs got to play without him, and it's got to break up that third line that has been absolutely buzzing. And you're talking about the stars on San Jose, Macklin, Celebrini, and Will Smith. These guys, I'm interested, in the matchups with, it's pretty solid lines with when you move Willie down to the third. Like, there's lots of weapons, and it's kind of hard to match for the opposition. But I'm curious to see who they put out there against Celebrini to shut him down and keep him to the outside. It'll be an interesting game. There's a bunch of storylines.
Man, I love this market because we didn't really go all in on it, but this whole notion that they've demoted Willie Nylander to the third line, like, I think that's far-fetched. I think they're trying to spread the wealth. We've seen this before. There was an admission yesterday that he is slumping because Berube talked about it. He said, work your way through it. I would say he's got to get involved more, engage more in the game, and work his way through it. Again, he's expected to start on that third line you just referenced with Joshua and Waugh. So, yeah, technically it is a demotion, but I didn't make as much of it as maybe some other talking heads did.
Yeah, well, Willie thinks it's great. I mean, he thinks it's great.
He loves it. Yeah.
He loves it. Okay. We'll see how long it lasts. I think it's just an opportunity with the suspension and the hole in the lineup to just mix that lineup. It has been, I think Berube called it dried up, and I think Nylander said we have not got many looks, and it just looks stagnant and stale. So the only thing you can do with that is mix it up, and it's hard to do because it's Willie Nylander and you have faith, and by all accounts that should be a pretty solid line, and we've seen it be good in the past. To just do it on your own whim, but when your hand is forced with a suspension or an unexpected man out of the lineup, it just gives you an opportunity to say, all right, let's take a minute to take a swing here, mix things up a little, have a different look, give everyone fresh eyes, and see what it looks like. We'll see what Nick Robertson looks like on that line with Tavares and Cowboy. We'll see how long it lasts. I mean, if he's buzzing and they're getting chances, they might roll with this. We'll see what kind of chemistry Nick Waugh and Dakota Joshua have with Willie. I mean, very different styles of play, but I'm sure they'll be looking to get on the forecheck, turn pucks over, get possession, and then look for Willie, I'm sure is going to be the MO. And we'll see if Willie's able to set those guys up if they can finish. Joshua's been clipping along and had a nice turnaround in his season, so we'll check it out. But yeah, bottom six now Willie is a part of, and if you look at the numbers, bottom six has been clicking.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, this is a positive for me as you see the numbers come on your screen here regarding the bottom six, but like, it's a positive for me because if I were to tell you even 3 weeks ago that the bottom six would be so strong and buzzing that it would allow Craig Berube to put Willie Nylander with Dakota Joshua and Nicolas Waugh in an effort to get Nylander going, I'd call you fucking crazy. So this is a great development because, the one guy I'm not concerned about is Willie Nylander. Like, he'll still put up the points. I think he'll elevate at some point in time this season. He's the least of my concerns. This is a welcome sight. He's trying to get him going by putting him with Joshua and Waugh. Think about that.
Yeah, and I mean, to get Willie going, to me, Willie needs to play a little bit pissed off, a little bit of a chip on the shoulder, a little bit of, I'm going to remind everyone what I can do. And when he isn't in that mode, he seems kind of disinterested sometimes. And like, I don't know, it's hard to put your finger on it. Willie is Willie, right? Everyone kind of says that. Yeah. Willie's being Willie. And sometimes, like, I'm not knocking him, but like his effort level is a little bit subpar, and he'll kind of just have too much patience with the puck in a zone that you gotta be protect it and be careful with it and pay real close attention and have high percentage decisions made with it. And he'll sometimes vary and go over to the other side of the line with that, and he can get away with it because he is Willie. And if you don't watch the game and you just look at the numbers, Willie's playing phenomenal, right? So there's other sides of his game, and maybe playing with those guys, there'll be an added level of responsibility and jump and go to play with those guys. It's going to be interesting. I'm really curious to see, because it is odd, like you say, William Nylander going to the third line. Like, what is that going to look like? We don't see it often. I can't think of a time where William Nylander has been in the bottom six. And again, we'll see how long it lasts.
He was third line center. You don't remember that?
Yeah, not really. I guess that's kind of funny, but
for 6 seconds.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we'll see how long this lasts. I'm interested to see who scores first, how the game gets momentum gets shifted, who takes control right away. Are they ahead with the lead? Are they chasing? Are they looking for one? And see how long Willie stays on that third line is kind of going to be the story for me. If this is a thing that's gonna, I just can't see it. What's the over under on it lasting?
Well, I was going to ask you, one period's my over under. I'm taking the under. I think 4 shifts in, he's going to be on the second line with.
I'll take second period. It goes to that, and if it's Bobby or if it's Nicky Robertson and he goes down to that line, the way he works and the way he forechecks, I mean, I think he could complement that line really well with the whole scratch and store narrative and seeing if we can get some offense out of them. Meanwhile, wanting to break up that line, get Willie. I think it's more just breaking the line up than it is putting Willie on the third. It's just the way. I mean, you could have put Cowan down, whatever, but just with the way they shoot and all the rest of it and the handedness, let's just put him down there and see what it looks like. But again, my prediction is the second period they go back to having Willie on the second line.
Yeah, my prediction is actually that he goes up to the first line and they take Domi and put him on the third line. I don't know. I haven't seen enough. I know Matthews had 7 shots on goal the other night, but I think if you're going to try to get Nylander going, you put him back with Matthews, see if those two can cook together. But certainly a story to monitor, because I put good money on the lines being different to finish the game than they are to start the game here against the San Jose Sharks. By the way, Craig Berube after the morning skate regarding Chris Tanev. We're still waiting for the results. I don't know yet. Wish I did, but can't speed him up. There's been some rumors about potential for surgery. He says, no, not right now. I don't believe that's going to be an option right now. So just be patient and wait for the results. And of course, that's coming off the comments, I believe, by Nick Kypreos in the last couple days regarding some potential surgery for Tanev. I don't know if this is along the same lines as like a Jake Muzzin back in the day. But I mean, let's not fool anything. There's a lot of kilometers under this guy. He's played a lot of hockey, plays a tough brand of hockey. It was the speculation too when he signed this deal with the Maple Leafs that he probably wasn't going to play every game, but at the very least, something we're watching very, very closely as the season progresses, the health, long-term and short-term here of Chris Tanev.
I know it's the long-term that scares me when you start talking about, quality of life after hockey and stuff like that. You're not screwing around with that. And yeah, you don't have to go back too far to look at Jake Muzzin. And if we were to lose Tanev, you'd look back at kind of this era and be like, the loss of Jake Muzzin and then Chris Tanev, both to like detrimental to your health, neck, head injury type things. That's a huge blow to the Leafs, but it's a situation where you cannot even go near knocking the player about it. I mean, you're talking about, and I don't want to speculate on what's going on with Tanev, but like cervical stuff and spine stuff and neck and head, like you're seriously messing around with the health that you have for the majority of your life will be the rest of your life not being a hockey player. And that is absolutely important too. So I didn't like to hear that stuff of Kipper. It's interesting that Kipper did go ahead and announce that that's what he's heard and that Berube kind of poo-pooed it, but it'll be interesting. Like, what is this doctor going to say? Are they going to take imaging? And like, I just don't know, I don't know what that would entail as far as the doctor saying, yep, you're good to go. But because the hit that he took wasn't that violent. It was more of just ran into somebody. And if he's going to play and be the player that he is, I mean, he gets hit a lot because he doesn't pull the chute. He doesn't hold up. He doesn't spin off and try to avoid the hit. He goes and takes it and then comes up with the puck. And can he handle that anymore? I have no idea. It's concerning for sure. But the fact he's in a not in a non-contact jersey and back, practicing with the team to the level that he is. And there's kind of like a a moment coming up where they're going to decide if he's ready to rock. At least that's exciting on the positive side of things.
Yeah, it's been interesting. He's been wearing the non-contact red jersey for a while. It feels like they're just waiting for the next shoe to drop, whether it's like he's doing something surgery-wise or treatment-wise, or he's coming back to the Maple Leafs lineup. But I would say if like there's one guy I'm okay with load managing, I should say, it's Chris Tanev. And again, they're at risk of missing the playoffs, so it's easier said than done right now. Like you need Chris Tanev in your lineup, but if they can find a way to insulate this guy and not play him every game and have him ready to go in the Stanley Cup playoffs, that's when you need him most. I would say, too, I'd love to get Adam Copeland, AW star, on the show very, very soon. If you remember, he had triple fusion surgery back in the day and, was retired from wrestling and miraculously came back like 10 years ago or whatever it was. And just would love to get his sort of analysis, what happens behind the scenes. I know he had a lot to say about Jake Muzzin back in the day, too. So maybe I'll try to link up with Cope and get him on the show next week. Win or loss, we're going to have it covered here at the Leafs Nation. Zach Phillips will have the TLN After Dark show directly following this Sharks-Leafs game, so make sure you check that out. And Ryan Reaves making his return. We caught up with Reavo yesterday, and we'll play that interview, Rosie, in about 15 minutes here.
Yeah, that'll be good. We'll see. Also, uncertain topic is whether he gets a video tribute. We love laughing at who gets those and who doesn't, and who's making those decisions and how they come to the final decision. But he'll probably be running around out there a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't imagine there'll be too much going on. Maybe he'll really want to play the role because there's nobody to answer to him on this Leafs team, really. Unless he goes crazy and someone really needs to step up. But we'll see what Reavo looks like. Sounds like he's pretty happy in San Jose and glad to be continuing his career. And he's creeping up on 1,000 games, which is just so impressive for a player like him to be able to stay in this new NHL the last 10 years, finding jobs, finding homes, finding a role, and just still chipping away on those games played, because not a lot of guys get to 1,000, especially a guy that plays like he does in this era.
Here's a scenario for you. If you're a newcomer on this Maple Leafs roster, would you oblige Ryan Reaves? I know he's 38. I know he's been one of the best tough guys in this league for many years. I'm looking maybe at like a Dakota Joshua. You're playing the role of Joshua. Would you step up to the plate here, Rosie? Do you feel the need to step up to the plate?
Well, it depends how the game goes. I would, if you get put behind the 8 ball, if they score on you first, if you have a brutal start and the coach is rattled and everyone's kind of stunned and you're skating in quicksand and the ice is tilted, I would go out there and fight Reaves in a second. But I don't know if that's on Dakota Joshua's radar. It's going out of a weight class, really. I mean, not as far as physical weight, but there's guys that are heavies that decide to go against the big dogs, and there's only about, what is there, 8 guys in the league that would be considered kind of heavies these days? Not a lot of them, and I don't think Joshua is one of them. He can play physical. He scrapped last game because he needed to, and I thought it was great. Great to see, but I certainly don't think Dakota Joshua is going out of his way to fight Ryan Reaves.
Yeah, I agree. It was a fun chat with Reavo, so that's coming up at the Leafs Nation 401 on YouTube. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Leafs Morning Take wherever you find your podcast. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review, and don't forget to visit theleafsnation.com. Crave the Stats is a presentation of Uber Eats. Every time the Leafs play at home, you can get these exclusive deals only on Uber Eats: Firehouse Subs, BOGO Brisket Hatcher, Kibo Sushi, BOGO California Roll, Shelby Shawarma, BOGO Traditional Wrap. That's right, buy one, get one. Before, during, and after the game, Uber Eats is assisting every fan's hockey experience all season long. So it's the first of 2 against San Jose. Both meetings the Sharks took last year, outscoring the Maple Leafs 9-7. I believe one of those games was 6-5. I'd love to see a barn burner 7-6 hockey game tonight. I'd love that.
I wouldn't. I would like to see Hildeby stand tall and keep that save percentage up. Yeah, I mean, the odds are heavily in the favor of the Maple Leafs, which I don't agree with, hence why I'm not putting money on them on this one. There's no value in it. I think that this will be a pretty decent test, and I think if they come with anything but their best and what they've been playing at the last 5, 6, 7 games, they have certainly a huge chance to drop this one. They've got some weapons on that team, and any goalie can get hot and shut the door on these Maple Leafs. And as we've mentioned, the big boys aren't like gunslinging right now. Matthews has been kind of quiet, and Nylander has been a story for being a little bit stagnant right now. JT's been a little bit cooled off. If you're leaving this up to your bottom six to win you this game, and you don't get phenomenal goaltending that you've got recently, this will go the other way. So we'll see what it looks like. I'm interested in this one, as it's an opponent that, like you said, we don't see all that often, and oftentimes if you take them lightly, you will get stung.
I'm excited to see Macklin Celebrini in person. This is my first go of things seeing this kid in person, but we talked about it with Reavo, spoiler alert, but he's one of those guys, it's hard to believe he's 19, how great he plays and how effective he is, and both sides of the ice. Like, for me, this is what it puts him maybe ahead of Connor Bedard right now. Bedard's having an impeccable year, is the all-round game. Like, Celebrini's a guy could easily make a case for the Selke Trophy right now. I know it's December 11th, but this guy's so dialed right now. It's such a great story for a team that struggled the last couple of years here in San Jose.
Yeah, it's so gross for these kids to be carrying the team. I mean, when you get drafted first overall, obviously the team's in a bad spot and doesn't have a lot of pieces surrounding you. Chicago, along with San Jose, is starting to develop those pieces and figure out who they are and starting to be noticed and not be those bottom feeder teams. And obviously that's on the shoulders of the guys like Bedard and Celebrini. And I haven't had a chance to watch Celebrini a whole lot, but like you said, well-rounded, just a weapon in the conversation of Team Canada Olympic team at that age. Like, 19, it just blows my mind. Yeah. There's so many good players in this league, especially, Canadians. And for him and Bedard at their ages, recent first overall picks, to be where they are just constantly blows my mind. These kids are just so ready for the NHL at a young age nowadays, where before, even if you were a weapon coming out of junior or a first overall pick, you kind of have to pay your dues and work your way up, and you wouldn't get the table sat for you. And these guys are just like, set it, I'm sitting at the head and I'm ready to go. And guys like him and Bedard, they're going to make it really difficult on the Team Canada powers at B, because yes, look, they're both top like 4 in NHL scoring right now with all the big dogs in the world, and they deserve to be on that team. But the big question is, who the hell do you take out? Like, do you pull Travis Konechny off, or like, that's going to be the kicker is, yeah, you're wowing us and everyone's impressed, but like, who do we pull off? So interesting to see when they make that team. But those two young guns are definitely making a case for being on that team and being deserving of it.
We're going to see Bedard at Scotiabank Arena on Tuesday, too. That guy is on a different planet right now, man. It's been pretty special to watch his development. I've talked about this the past year, where I could really see him take that McKinnon ascent, and we're seeing it right now. Like, he is 5 points back of Nathan McKinnon, and just that electric release. I think it's really cool, too, where you look at the comparison, and they're going to be compared and attached to the hip for the next 15 years, Celebrini and Bedard. Just the differences in the types of players, but both like so elite. And as a Canadian, it excites me to see that next wave. I think we had been waiting for that next talent to hit, and we got 2 to take over for Crosby here, to add to McDavid and others who are getting a bit older here.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a lack of talent coming into the league with, I'm involved in minor hockey right now, and the hockey's just so crazy. It's so specialized. Yeah. We talked to Ryan Reaves too. These guys, they don't get distracted by the booze and the girls the way some guys did in eras before, where you think this guy's going to be a star and he just gets off track and doesn't get to where he needs to be. These guys are weapons. They're like machines right out of the gate, and they've been doing it since they're 12, 10, 8. And to be 18, 19, 20, they just have this experience behind them from playing very high level hockey, being very specialized, acting like professionals from, their preteen years, which, whatever you say about that, it is what it is. And these kids are weapons coming in right off the bat. And yeah, again, looking forward to look at Celebrini. And the thing I like about Bedard is he kind of gets a little pissed off out there. Like, he has that like chip. No bullshit, all business chip. Like that's the number one thing I like about Nathan McKinnon, is he's just like pissed off. Like, either we're winning and I'm doing well and I'm carrying the load, or I'm pissed straight off. And I wish some of the Maple Leafs had a little bit more in that. They've been knocked for that at times, for just having the same like look on their face when they get beat out of the playoffs as they do when they lose a Tuesday against Columbus. Like, he's a competitor, and I'm not wrong, but when I watched him play in junior, his draft year, I was like,
Bedard,
He's
right?
playing 30 minutes a night. He was floating like I have never seen floaters float. And he still got 2 or 3 points that night just because he turned it on at the right times and found his spot. And he was doing that all year long. But I was like, I don't know if that kind of hockey is going to translate to the NHL, the intensity level, the speed of it. I feel like you're going to play like that, you'll get picked apart. But totally not the case. He has come in, he understands what to do, he works, he is fast. Like, everyone talks about his shot, but he can wheel too and burn you with his speed. So those kids are sick, man. And we're going to get a look at one tonight, Celebrini. I hope he's not too hot and the Leafs are ready for him and can keep him at bay.
Just not Celebrini on the San Jose Sharks either. There's a couple other young players. There's Tyler Toffoli as well, so look out for them. Should be a fun one at Scotiabank Arena tonight. Admittedly, neither of us know much about Henry Thrun, but I'd love to get sort of your reaction to Thrun getting in there and what you expect. It looks like he's going to play with Benoit on a pairing. 119 career NHL games, 5 goals, 20 assists, 25 points. He's not a heavy, big guy. He's like he's built around 6'1", probably closer to 6 foot, but the biggest thing I could say is like move the puck. I think that's what made Troy Stecher really effective when he came in, played with a bit of piss and vinegar and snarl. He's not the biggest guy either, but he moves the puck. And that's what this team was really, really lacking on the blue line to start this season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're looking for a ton of flash out of the guy, but if you're paying attention to the D zone, if he's in position, if he's confident, if he's making the right reads, not being caught out of position and keeping things to the outside, reading the play properly. And when he gets the puck on his stick, start moving your feet and just get that head up to find the play and just bang, 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 move it. It's out of our zone. It's in our forwards' hands. Go, go, go. And then jump up with the play and just simple stuff like that. He's 24 years old, so he's starting to enter his prime. He's got some experience behind him. He has a left-handed shot playing on the right side, and he's been doing that on the Marlies, so it won't be totally unfamiliar to him. Sometimes that can be a benefit if you're talking, mostly in the offensive zone, but in the D zone, you're exposing the puck a lot of time. You can't protect it towards the wall. It's more exposed to the middle, which can be detrimental. You're also kind of facing the wrong way when you get those D-to-D passes. It's an adjustment, but like I said, he's been doing that in the minors and should be familiar with it. So you get another guy on the right side, although he is on his offside. We'll kind of have a look at that. But if we don't notice Henry Thrun out there tonight, I think that'll be just fine. It'll mean he's doing his job.
I like that. Will you be playing the Nick Robertson anytime goal tonight? So Robbie back into the lineup. Bobby McMann suspended for 1 game. The last 11 outings for Nick Robertson. 2 goals, 0 assists, 2 points. I'm playing it. This guy, Mr. Scratch and Score himself.
Yeah, I mean, if he literally scores tonight, it'll start to be getting funny for how predictable he is with scoring coming out of the box. And I mean, his one knock has been consistency. Like, why do you need to go into the press box to come back and be able to find it? He just tends to drive himself down and then all of a sudden becomes kind of irrelevant where it's justified that he's got to come out of the lineup again. Something will happen and you'll need to make a decision, and it'll be easy to go to Nicky Bobby because he hasn't done a whole lot. And it's not for a lack of effort, that's for sure. I just don't know why it's so consistent where he comes back into the lineup and is able to get on it. So I'll take a look-see at his goal scoring. I'm seeing you got to go down a little bit. It's probably going to be some pretty good value. He's plus 2,000 to score the first one. Yeah, I'll incorporate him into my bet segment at the end of the show with Bet365.
When does Matias Maccelli find his way back? Does he find his way back? Do we see a report in the next week where it's like Maccelli would open a change of scenery? Like, I think that's the destination we are headed, because now like Nick Robertson's ahead of this guy in the depth chart. Like, dude, to shit on both of us going into the year, and Zach included, everybody here at the Leafs Nation, we were talking about 50, 60 points for Maccelli. Like, he can't even get into the lineup right now, and the bottom 6, let's call it what it is. It's a work in progress. Like, this guy has no standing on this roster right now.
Yeah, it's a tough spot for him. I mean, I said yesterday they rolled the dice with him. Can we get what he was capable of a couple of years ago, then kind of fell off in Utah a little bit and wasn't happy, wanted out. And sometimes a guy's in a situation where, just mentally he's not happy. Like, him and the coach don't see eye to eye. He doesn't have line mates or teammates that he can click with and loses all confidence. You give a guy a change of scenery and bang, there he is. He's back. And they were hoping for that. It didn't happen. but it's also kind of a tough spot because he's not a bottom six player. If you want to build this team the way that Tree meant to build it, the way they need to play in the bottom six is not conducive to his game at all. He needs to be kind of more of a top six player, and there's nobody that you're going to yank out of there in the top six to put him in at this moment. But like I said yesterday, I don't think it's like the end of the road. It's just a tough stretch. The team's turned it around. They're playing to better defensive hockey. The bottom six is clicking. You're not pulling anyone else out there. Things will change. It is 50 games left in the season. He will get back in the lineup one way or another. And it's just his job right now to be a professional, stay ready, stay in shape, stay focused. And when he does get that shot, it's up to him to take it by the reins and not let them pull him out of the lineup. And I think he knows what he has to do. But what he did so far from what we saw, it just wasn't enough. Like, you weren't making the plays. You weren't dynamic. You weren't, responsible with the puck as far as turnovers and whatnot and making the right high percentage play. And you got to be defensively responsible. So he's going to be looking for a while here. I don't know, like, if a trade comes up, I would be surprised anytime in the next handful of weeks. But whether it's in December or if it's into the new year, I think he'll get another look and we'll be able to test the waters again.
Zach Phillips writing here in the chat, the data guys online think he should be playing in Domi's spot. I've seen that enough. I think it's quite definitive in my world. Like, they're going to try to attack the top six if they stay in a playoff spot by the trade deadline, try to get somebody in here. I don't think Domi's the answer. I don't think Maccelli's the answer. They hoped it was going to be Maccelli, but I think you're right. It's a long season. At some point, via injury or a health bomb of somebody else, he's going to find his way back into the lineup. What can he do? Can he be scratch and score? Can he apply his game? He doesn't have to look far. I mean, look at Nick Robertson, the way he's evolved his game in short order under Craig Berube here. Like, he's not the biggest guy on the ice, but he's pushing it around a bit. And I think that's my major takeaway from Maccelli, is just how soft that guy is. Like, he just, if the going gets tough, he just doesn't have much, right? I think he's a great skill guy, but it's like, how do you apply that now to your overall game with Berube? And so that'll be my big question for Maccelli when he does come back to this lineup.
Yeah, and like the guys like Robertson, I mean, they're workhorses. They're chasing pucks down. They're taking away that time and space. Maccelli's more of a stay back and look and wait and watch and stay patient and look for my opportunity. And when the going gets tough and you're playing against a tough team and you need to get into the game and the team's behind on the scoreboard, and they're taking away the middle and boxing out, you got to be able to blow through that and penetrate and find ways, force things to happen out there. And he's just not a forceful player. He's not like a crazy hardworking player. So, I mean, that's why he's sitting in the press box right now. And if he wants to change his mentality or attitude and reinvent a few different things that he does out there in order to try to find more success on this team in the way that they want to play, that's up to him. But again, all I can say is that I'm certain he's going to get another opportunity on this team. Again, it's going to be another roll of the dice, whether he takes control of it and does something with it and is able to be effective in the way that Craig Berube wants him to. It's totally up to him. But if it's more of the same, it's obviously just not good enough.
Reminder, you can catch Off the Roster, Toronto's new sports show with Cabby, Lindsay Dunn, and Dan Riccio every weekday morning at 10 a.m. on the Nation Network YouTube channel and anywhere you stream your podcast. Don't forget to subscribe as well to the Nation Network YouTube channel as well. Off the Roster, the new sound in the six. Don't miss it at the Leafs Nation 401. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Without further ado, we're all waiting for this return to Toronto for Ryan Reaves. Having said that, we caught up with Reavo yesterday. Enjoy. Reavo, welcome back to Toronto, man. How's it feel?
Good to be back. Always good to be back. How you guys doing?
Good. What's going through your mind? Obviously, you've had a couple games on your belt here in San Jose, but what's going through your mind as you get off the plane here into Toronto, getting set for this game?
I mean, not much really. It's just another game. I've done this. This is my sixth or seventh time in my career doing this. You never want to lose to the team that just got rid of you, for sure. So, we'll be working tomorrow, but just another game.
We always laugh and try to figure out who's getting a video tribute, and when guys return, we can't figure it out. You think you'll get recognized, or do you even care?
I doubt it. No, I don't care either way. It's fine. But yeah, I doubt it. Well, it was only 2 years.
Yeah, that's fair. We did love you here. Just have you been able to talk to the guys throughout the season? Like, I'm sure. I mean, whether you admit it or not, it's a game that you looked at and said, you know what, I want to have a good showing back in Toronto here. I know it was a couple of years, but you meant a lot to these guys, right?
Yeah, like I said, you don't ever want to have a bad showing against the old team that got rid of you, and you never want to lose to your boys. You always want to put that in their face. But um, yeah, I mean, I keep in touch with a bunch of them. I know, unfortunately, I couldn't meet up with them today. They got hospital visits, but um, yeah, we're gonna be trying to put our best foot forward. I know I will tomorrow for sure.
Yeah, and obviously you're focused on what's going on in San Jose, no question. But when you look back at your time in Toronto, if you get the time to do so, what stands out as your time being a Maple Leaf?
My time being in Maple Leaf, I had a good time. It was cool to put on this jersey. There's a lot of history on this team. I met some really really good guys in this organization, guys that I plan on talking to for the rest of my life. Um, hockey wise, obviously a little more frustrating than I would have liked. Um, but again, I said it today after practice. Hockey is a business, and it's not always going to go the way you want. It's there's going to be ups and downs in your career, and unfortunately the last 2 years, especially last year, was a little bit of a down year for me here, and it just didn't work out. So I don't hold any grudges. Business is business, and it is what it is.
Do you have a favorite memory? Like I always recall, I think it was your first home game. You like flexed to the crowd, man. That set the tone for me. Like this guy means business. I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, my first two games were fun. I think I got two fights in two games there, and a lot of energy. But um, yeah, I would say those first two games were a lot of fun. Just putting on that jersey for the first time.
What stands out to you? You've been a few different places, but the difference between Toronto and San Jose, what are some of those things?
Oh man, Toronto just seems like more of a production, more of there's just a lot more going on. In Toronto you have 30 skills coaches, and you got 10 nutritionists, and then you got a girl stretching, for stretching, and a guy for, movement. It's just there's a lot of moving parts in Toronto. It's a big production here. Just a little bit less in San Jose, but San Jose, they still have everything you need to get, to be a professional and be a good player. It's just a little bit more here.
How much do you miss the media in Toronto? I know it's a bit different there in San Jose, right?
A bit different. The most questions I've been getting is about my fantasy football squad this year. It's been kind of nice. So, um, look, I mean, I don't miss any of the negativity.
What are you talking about?
I
Why
believe
was
it. I
it?
believe it.
No, no, no. The media was always good to me. Like they were never they were
Yeah.
never bad to me. It's just much different here. Here you got 30 guys coming to the locker room, and they're dissecting everything that happened. I know when I got into that suspension, everybody comes up, it's like, what'd you see on that play? It's like, well, I tried to hit a guy. I missed. I go to the locker room in San Jose. It's like, how's the fantasy squad doing? You guys win this week, so it's a little different.
And I always find it interesting to talk to guys that have been in that market and elsewhere. Like they haven't won since 1967. Do you think that what you just described, like the theatrics around it, the craziness, the media, the just everything that comes along with that market, do you think that makes it more difficult to win in that city?
I don't know if it makes it more difficult. I think it just makes it a different experience. I think you have to be a certain person to be able to deal with that, to be able to see your name on TV every day, whether you're playing good or, especially if you're not playing well, they're gonna pick you apart, and they're gonna talk about it over and over. And, that's just what happens when you're in a big hockey market, right? It's just no escaping it.
Pretty polarizing offseason. I know you're busy with life out in San Jose. You guys are off to a good start. Young team. We'll get to that. But how stunned? I'm sure you've looked around the league a couple times. How stunned were you at Toronto's start? I know they've leveled off a bit lately, 5-1-1 in their last seven. But how shocked were you to see that type of start for them?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a lot of turnaround on the team. Losing Mitchie, I think, probably hurt a little bit more. But a lot of new faces, and I think when you have a lot of new faces on a team, it's going to take time to build chemistry and get that game to really you want it to be. Obviously, like you said, the last couple of games they've been playing much better. But yeah, like a lot of teams when there's a lot of turnaround, it's going to take time to kind of build that game.
Your division's pretty tough or tight too. Is it different playing in that Pacific Division, or is it whatever? You've been around the block. Do you notice differences? Is it weird being over in that part of the world, or is it just hockey's hockey?
You know what? It's funny. I've said it a couple times now. I think I belong in the West. I don't know if I think all my best years have been in the West, and my worst years have been in the East. I don't know what it is. If it's the air out there, or maybe it's, I stay up late to watch football in the East, and in the West it's done at 10 o'clock, so I can get some sleep. I don't know what it is, but I just like the West better.
Max Celebrini, obviously a stud on your team. You've had pretty good handful of games to watch him. What can you tell us about him, and is he ready to play on Team Canada? Would you be an advocate of him making that team for the Olympics?
I mean, I would be shocked if he wasn't on Team Canada. He is, to me, young players coming in, yeah, they have that high skill, but the other parts of their games, haven't really developed. The being a full three zone, 200-foot player, not cheating for pucks, not cheating for points, that kind of stuff. I feel it sometimes takes a couple years for these young guys, but Mac already has all of that. He's not a guy who, he turns over the puck and he's not going to swing all the way to the other zone hoping for a breakaway. He gets in the corners, he plays physical, he stops on pucks, he back checks hard. He plays in all three zones. He's kind of that complete package at a young age. And so, I mean, I think it would be a snub if he didn't make Team Canada, to be honest.
Oh, he's electric. I watch a lot of your games, and you look very rejuvenated, refreshed. I don't know what the word is, but like, how much does it help when you have all that youthful enthusiasm around you in San Jose? Like, you guys are going to be a good team for many years to come here.
Yeah, I mean, this team is going to be very good. Him, Will Smith, those guys are electric together, and they've been playing very well together. Not only last year but this year, and their game is just building, and they're getting better every day. And they're going to take this organizations to very good places, and I'm hoping I'm around for it for the next couple years, but. Yeah, it's exciting times in San Jose for sure with those guys.
hmm And you started your career like 07, 08. Like it's getting to be a while ago, obviously. What are some of the differences that, these young players come in? Like, how do they handle themselves differently? And what goes into being a team now that might have changed over the course of your career?
Oh man, we used to go out and drink a lot more back in the day, that's for sure. There was a lot more club nights back in the day. But um, I feel like the young guys now, they take care of their bodies so much more than, young guys back in the day. I think they like to get their sleep, they like to get their green juices in. They like to be home, they
So
like to be
lame,
home at
man.
curfew, which yeah, yeah. Hey, the league has drastically changed from off ice to on ice. It's all different since I came in the league. For better, for worse, it is what it is. That's just how the league is.
We talk about that a lot. It's funny because the Leafs as mentioned, had a really shit start to this season, and we had like veteran after veteran, like Thomas Caberlet. I remember all these guys lined up, came on our show, and we're like, "How did they get out of this?" And like, they need to get drunk on the road, and like, we laughed about it because that's probably not what was happening. But I wanted to ask you about the road. Like, the Leafs played a lot of their games on home ice to start the season, and just want to ask you how big it is to get on the road with the boys for an extended period of time and just chill out and hang out a bit.
I think it is one of the most important things for a team. I think when you look at a schedule, you want a nice long road trip to start the year. You want to build that chemistry. You want to get to know guys off the ice. And it's hard when especially with guys who have families, when you're at home for the first, month, and you're going to the practice rink, and then you're going home to see your family because a road trip's coming up, so you don't want to, be away from them when you're at home. So it's tough, but I think it's really important. We had a early road trip. We all went to Book of Mormon, had a good time there. We've had a couple dinners now. We had a little night out a couple nights ago. I think it's, like I said, one of the most important things for a team to be able to go out and have fun on the road.
No, I creep your DB here, and like you are creeping towards 1,000 games played. Is that on your radar? And assuming you stay healthy and play every game, do you know what date that could be that you could hit 1,000?
That date will be next year. It'll be,
Yeah,
I need one more contract.
barely.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna need. I want to say it's in the low teens next year, or something around that. Like, not very many. So, no,
Shit.
it's definitely on my radar. I've told the story before, but when I first came in the league, I, I was creeping on 100 games. I remember I looked at my wife. I was like, "Could you imagine if I hit 100 NHL games? How cool that would be!" And then all of a sudden, I was at 200, and then I was creeping on 5, and then I got up to 8, and I was like, "Man, well, imagine if I hit 1,000 games." And now it's like, it's there. And I guess I could have hit it this year if things didn't go the way it did last year. This would have been the year to hit it, but unfortunately, it just didn't work out that way. So I'm hoping I can earn one more contract and stick around for another year or two. And not just that. I think the excitement around San Jose and this team. I want to be part of that, and I want to help. You know, continue to lead these young guys into what they're trying to build. So. Yeah, I got a lot on my radar. Got 100 fights coming up too.
Oh,
Trying to
wow.
get to that. Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
get into that in a second, but do you think they should give you silver gloves? I think it's a silver stick for 1,000 games. Like, I think we should change it for
Yeah.
you.
I mean, that would be cool. I would love a pair of silver gloves for 100 fights. That'd be unreal. I thought
That'd
maybe
be
a
unreal.
thousand pims you might get something, but no, nothing for that either.
Nothing. Did want to get to that. I
Nothing.
think I was looking earlier today, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's 3 tilts to your name this year, but you're really going early on in the year. Like, what have you made of sort of how different fighting is from like when you started to now? But like every now and again, I'll watch, and you got the Rempe tilt. I think you went Olivier this year. It's always refreshing for a dinosaur like me when I see that still in this game.
Yeah, it's different from back in the day. Well, when I came in the league, every team had somebody, and every game you were looking at the sheet is like, all right, who's gonna want it tonight? And how many times is he gonna want it? It's just much different. Now it's, especially last year, there was, I only had one fight, and if you look at the games we played, we played against Jersey. McDermott was scratched one of the games, and I got scratched against Jersey. Olivia had a broken hand one game. Delorier didn't play a few of the games. I didn't play one of the games against Philly. And so, those are kind of the guys that are willing to fight me. And when you don't have those guys in the lineup, you know, there's not a lot there's not a lot I can do, because there's just not a lot of guys that are willing to drop the gloves. Last night, unfortunately, Delorier wasn't in. Was hoping another go with him, because I like fighting him. Him and Olivier, I really like fighting. They're a lot like me, very technical, and it's fun kind of trying to dissect those fights with those guys.
Yeah, and I mean the fact that you're creeping up on 1,000 games is a testament to how you've been able to adapt your game. And back in the day, like you say, there's 3 guys on every team who you could potentially get in one, and now is there even 10 guys in the league that would go you? I don't know if that's even the case. How have you developed your mentality going into a game? Like you said, oftentimes you're not getting in a scrap. And what has been the main thing that you have focused on and adapted to that has kept you in the league as long as you've been?
Honestly, just being high energy on the bench, on the ice, and playing physical. I think my game has changed where back in the day, yeah, I got to play physical and get in guys' face and everything, but I'm fighting, as much as I can basically now, because there's not those fights out there. It's how can I have an impact on the game? I'm not pretending like I'm going to go out and score 50 or anything like that, but to be able to bring energy and get in guys' faces, and make defensemen look over their shoulder once in a while, thinking that I might be coming, and that opens up room for other guys when they're on the ice. So I think that's just kind of been the biggest adaptation is and I've, believe it or not, got faster over the days, because I used to just go to the gym and throw around 300-pound weights and try and get jacked, just because I knew I was going to be fighting all year. And I don't do that anymore. It's a lot more, a lot more sprint stuff, a lot more explosive stuff. So, games change, and I got to change.
I like that. And Reeve, I'm a big wrestling guy. You can't see me. John Cena's final match coming up
John
this
Cena.
weekend. Yeah, I know you're dialed in on this. I got to ask you, like, plenty of games still left in your career, but do you have a dream last opponent to go in the NHL? Like if you had to pick one guy right now, this is my last go of things, do you know who it would be or who you want it to be?
Oh, maybe Poppy. I think that would be a good cherry on the cake.
You think he's taking
No,
that?
no, we were just joking about it today. We were saying center ice tomorrow, so no. I think probably Delorier. He was my 1,000th PIM I got on a fight with him. Our fights have always been very even, and I respect his game a lot. He plays tough and he plays very honest. He's not dirty, and the way he scraps, I love his game, and him or Olivier, to be honest, those two guys I think would be the ones I'd want to go.
I love the respect. Rosie, do you remember your last fight in the NHL?
I don't. I remember I was Dennis Bonvie's last fight, though, and we had this go, and afterwards he said, "You're my last one, kid. You're my last one." And I don't know what his PIM fight total is, but he played in the heyday, and I was like, holy fuck, that's a lot of guys to be the last one. But it's funny how you start thinking about that stuff when you get near in the end.
Yeah. Very sick. You got plenty left in the tank, man. Just money on the board, I'm guessing, tomorrow for this game against the Leafs, or what?
You know what? I've been on so many teams. I feel like I'm putting on every game, and it's breaking my bank. It's getting ridiculous. I gotta stop getting dealt.
Welcome back. We look forward to seeing you, and something tells me you're going to be moving and grooving on that ice. I can't wait. I'll be there, bud.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for.
All right, there you have it. Ryan Reaves of the San Jose Sharks. Always a fun time. He always has a lot to say. I love Reavo.
Yeah, he's a wily veteran, no doubt about it. There's a reason he's stayed in the league this long, man. It's impressive. And hopefully he's not interested in doing too much damage tonight. As he mentioned, there's not a lot of answer for old Reavo on the Leafs team, although they're playing better, tougher hockey. And I do think if he really wanted to push the limits, the guys would come together and see what was up. So we'll look forward to that tonight.
What are the chances we see Matthews and Reaves at center ice opening puck drop?
0%.
It's time now for the last call, brought to you by Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in the game. Use code NATION. That's NATION, NATION. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, visit connexontario.ca. Anything you're looking at? I think I'm going to play the over. I think it's a plus number right now, but why not? I'm hoping for high score and high event type games. So give me the over 6.5.
Nope. I think another Hildebeest performance will keep that from happening. But I'm just going off script. I got 3 bets. John Tavares, first goal. Matthew Knies, first goal. Nicholas Robertson, first goal. That averages out to about plus 1,500 if you hit one of those. That's some good value. I like that plus money. So I think one of those guys are going to get the Leafs on the board first.
Wicked. Sounds good. Looking forward to recapping this game coming up on Friday, the Friday edition of Leafs Morning Take. We'll also preview Leafs Oilers, the Troy Stecher revenge game, and Paul Bissonnette. Biz Nasty's going to drop by the podcast tomorrow.
Nice. Good stuff. Looking forward to that one. Don't want to look past the pesky San Jose Sharks, which has been a theme in the past, not so much recently, thankfully. But yeah, like I said, these guys have no business getting caught up in trap games. They got to take everyone seriously. Every one of these points is huge. If they can stay on the course that they've been on right now, they will find themselves at the top of the Atlantic, as crazy as that is to say, with how recently they were a disaster. But them's is the breaks, babies. Looking forward to these Sharks, and then we will get towards those Edmonton Oilers starting tomorrow. Looking forward to it.
I love this gauntlet of games, man. You got Celebrini, then you got McDavid, and then you got Bedard. I mean, if you're a hockey fan, you're in love right now. So we'll see what the Leafs have in store for this one starting tonight against the San Jose Sharks at the Leafs Nation 401. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Leafs Morning Take wherever you find your podcast. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review. Also, don't forget to visit theleafsnation.com. Thank you to Ryan Reaves. Again, Paul Bissonnette coming up tomorrow. Thank you to producer Vic. Don't forget to check out After Dark tonight following the game with Zach Phillips right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. For Jay Rosehill, I'm Nick Alberga. Take care, everybody. Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long-form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.